Okay, welcome back to the second episode of Talk Talks by Rule 107. You're here with me, Maddie, Anna, and one of our other hosts, Gracie. Gracie, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Gracie. I'm 19 from Essex, and my favourite team is McLaren, and my favourite track would be Singapore.
Very good choices.
Yes.
You excited to be going back to Singapore this year then?
Very excited. I cannot wait.
Hopefully McLaren have got some pace by then.
Yeah, I'm currently
I hope so too.
With their pace. So, yeah.
I mean, as a Mercedes fan, I am also crying at the pace at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm just a crying mess.
Yeah, especially with Lewis.
Don't even.
Oh, don't get me started. Right. Obviously, we are here to talk about the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, which has just been and gone. Sparks flew on track, off track, 12 kilometers away from the track.
Not good.
Yeah, no, I feel like we've got to start with that because there was a missile strike on Aramco were sponsoring the race, weren't they? So it was the sponsor's facility, like 10 or 12 kilometers away from the track. That was terrifying.
Yeah.
Imagine being there though and knowing that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, some of the photos that were coming from teams and the photographers were terrifying.
Yeah, they were.
And the smoke was still there in the morning.
Yeah.
With some people went home as well, didn't they?
Yeah, I feel like wasn't it the because Carla, who unfortunately cannot be here right now, she has prior commitments. She said that the Sky Germany presenters up and left.
Yeah, they did.
So yeah, I mean, I personally believe that they should have been allowed to not race. I thought it was really shifty. I'm not sure if you guys have read the article from the BBC on BBC Sport. To quote them, BBC Sport has learned that a significant number of drivers had concerns about the safety of the event following the attack, but eventually they were convinced to go ahead and race after being given further information by bosses. Part of this information involved the possible consequences of not racing, such as how easily teams and drivers would be able to leave the country if the race did not happen. Like, that's not a polite suggestion. That's we're going to hold you hostage if you don't race.
Yeah.
It's not good, is that?
Yes. No, I don't agree with that.
No, it's that's blatant blackmail.
Like they say,
and to be fair, they're literally,
like I said, cash is king.
Yeah.
And yeah, because the fans were there, you'd lose money, and I don't know. I think in general, especially how long they was in the meeting for, there was a lot to cover, and I just felt that it wasn't safe to be there this weekend.
No, I mean, with all the human rights issues going on with Saudi Arabia in general, I don't think it's really safe to be there full stop.
I agree.
Especially for like the teams that have a lot more, of a female like race team and things like that, with laws being the way that they are over there and prejudices being the way that they are. I feel like it's just not the safest of environments.
No.
Yeah. And I do think it's a shame, especially with it being such a new track.
But also, like, the drivers are doing this country such a big favour.
Yeah.
Like, without them, obviously there would be no sport.
Yeah, like don't threaten a big source of income because they may just decide not to come back. Like,
and they're the ones driving, so they should be able to have more of a say.
Yeah, because obviously we saw all the F1 drivers in that meeting that went on for like 4 hours. I think they finished at something ridiculous like 2 a.m. But I did not see anything about the F2 drivers. Bearing in mind,
that's the point.
A lot of the F2 drivers are actually children. They're minors. So I like no hate to the F2 drivers. Like you are just children. But like because they're minors, they should be safeguarded a lot better because, you know, they are children. At the end of the day, it is the team's responsibility to keep them safe. Like, those drivers, I think, should have been given the option to leave because they are children. I mean, I think all of the drivers should have been given the option to leave, and just like scrapped the race for points or whatever, and just have it more of like an exhibition race.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought it was awful the way that they were being held, and yeah, no.
Me too.
Oh yeah, it is terrible. Like the track's not even like the best though, is it?
No, it's not even that good for overtaking and racing.
No,
There were like so many changes made. But
it was just like one part of the track, right?
Yeah, and the DRS is so powerful that, I mean, as we saw later on in the race, that if you overtook at certain areas, you'd immediately get caught later on in the lap.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't really say it's the best track for racing. And given, you know, the track record with human rights and then this on top of everything, I mean, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we didn't race there again, even though they did build the track last year. It's a shame because, you know, it's great to be going racing in more countries, but I feel like a racetrack in Africa would have been better than another racetrack in the Middle East.
Yeah, because they're changing the tractors now, so I wonder if that one will change.
Yeah, I mean, they already made a change to one of the corners. I think that was the corner where Verstappen clipped it in qualifying or something last year. Which I can remember seeing the interview. He seemed very pleased about that, and Lewis was like, "I don't understand why they've made it wider there." But I like
everyone else managed to get through.
Literally, yeah. But we saw quite a few crashes, not just in F1, but in F2 there were like, what was there, like 3-4 crashes, and not just like, oh, I've ripped off my front wing, like serious crashes. Like Logan Sargent had a really bad crash in F2.
Like last year in December, when I was there, you'd like that they had so many restarts and there were so many red flags and crashes. Like they couldn't get through the first corner without there being a crash.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Yeah, no.
Driver had to go to hospital. I can't pronounce his name. I don't butcher his name. I'm not even going to attempt it. But yeah,
there was the one with Enzo Fittipaldi, but that was due to the car, not the track, wasn't it? Because he stalled it.
Yeah, no, this was this year, and it's the guy that was a sim racer before coming up to F2. He had a crash.
Every F2 driver's name has just fled my brain. Burluk Bassi? Yes. Is that right? Because it's got umlauts over the O's and the U's.
Yeah.
I may have butchered that. If so, I apologize.
It's all right.
Yeah, no, it was like crash after crash. And then we got into qualifying, and Mick had that horrible crash. And
yes,
I know he wasn't wearing a helmet cam for this race. Nicholas Latifi was, and I'm not sure if you guys have watched the helmet cam shot of his accident, because that was horrible.
Yeah,
because it looks bad when you're it looks bad when you're outside of the car, but when you see what they're seeing, oh my god, it's terrifying.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, obviously we're glad that all of the drivers are okay. Mick obviously had to go and get checked up, just in case he had a concussion, because he obviously hit 33 Gs upon impact. But my favorite part of this, and this does make me laugh, is that Gunther couldn't make him go to the hospital, so he called his mum.
Oh, yeah.
And Corinna had to force him to go to the hospital, but that was all done over the phone. And I find that quite funny, because like, oh, he's such a mummy's boy, and it's so cute.
Isn't he?
But I do
And he
find,
looks like one too.
yeah, I do find it funny that big scary Gunther could not get him to go to hospital to get checked out. Obviously, he wasn't the only driver from F1 that went to go and get checked out at the hospital. Pierre Gasly went after the race because he was experiencing, I think it was like a sharp stabbing pain in his intestine for like the last 10 laps. I'm not sure if we've got any update on that from him, but hopefully Pierre's okay. I'm assuming if he
love you, Pierre.
Yeah, we love you. We support you. You're my favorite Red Bull driver.
Tsunoda is crying right now.
The Alpha Tauri drivers are just like top tier. Love them both. Yeah. Speaking of Yuki, the fact that he didn't get to start the race, part of me was thinking that was just his engine from Bahrain was going, I can't anymore, man.
Yeah.
That way we've got a clean house, 4 out of 4.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Ooh.
I will not play a part in this. I don't want to do this.
Yeah, Yuki's engine really just said, not today.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, no, it was an interesting race that had quite a few people not finishing.
There was like one point where they were all going.
I was like, what's going on? And it was that meme of the cars
from Cars 2.
Yeah. And they're all just zapping away the energy.
To be fair, they do have a new biofuel this year, so you know.
That's the point.
Not entirely unreasonable. Oh my god, we just watched Cars 2 in real life. Because Lewis Hamilton is in Cars 2, as is Seb Vettel, so
that is
true.
But yeah, I mean,
it's my dream come true watching Cars in real life.
That would be a bit of a like whoa moment watching Cars in real life.
Whoa, bro.
Yeah.
It upsets me that Lewis Hamilton isn't an F1 car in the Cars universe, actually. The same for Seb. It really upsets me that they're not F1 cars.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the one thing that I take offense to in that universe is the fact that they're not F1 cars.
Yeah.
Like, come on, continuity, guys.
Have a little word with them.
Yeah.
I found out that it's Jeremy Clarkson that is the little speaker in Mac.
Yes.
I never knew that.
It's a different person in different places, isn't it? So I feel like wasn't it like oh no, because I remember reading about this. Who is it in the American version?
Oh, they're different, are they?
Yeah, they're different because we got Jeremy Clarkson because we're British. And I feel like the Americans got someone else.
Oh yeah, because they wouldn't have no Americans are going to really know who Jeremy Clarkson is. Let's be real.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry for them.
Yeah. Get to know.
Oh, this is gonna. It's voiced by Jeremy Piven in the US and Jeremy Clarkson in the UK. His name's Harv.
Harv, yes.
Harv, big up.
Yeah, I just suddenly remembered that. We were just like, oh my god, yes. And Michael Schumacher's in Cars as well, isn't he?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they got a fair few drivers in there.
If there was another one and you had to have one more voice, who would it be?
Ooh.
Like past and present?
Present.
Present.
I feel like Daniel Ricciardo would be a good shot.
I was thinking that.
Yeah. He's just so fun.
He is very fun. Otherwise,
the bubbly one.
I'd maybe say, actually, why can I not remember names today? Pierre, because I really like his voice. I think he's got a nice accent.
He does.
Could you imagine Yuki in Cars?
I was thinking that.
You just have to be beeping everything out, he says.
Yeah.
That would not be a kid's film.
No, it'd have to be like Cars.
That's at least 21 plus.
18.
18 plus Cars 4.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
I'll just get on the phone to Disney after this. Then we'll make it happen.
But lots to talk about.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the race.
Yeah.
Can you tell how interesting the race was based upon the fact that we just spent ages talking about Cars, the movie? Right.
It was amazing.
It truly was amazing.
But let's talk about Alonso and the Ocon fight.
Yes, because that was probably the best fighting that we got right at the start of the race.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the most interesting fights up until Leclerc and Verstappen at the end. I thought it was really
fights as well.
Yeah, I'd say there were like three key fights that were interesting, which was Leclerc and Verstappen, Esteban and Ocon. Oh my god,
Yes.
Esteban and Fernando, and Lewis and Kevin. Those were like the three key fights for me, at least. But it was really interesting.
Still not over Kevin being back.
I know. I feel so sorry for him. Have you seen the state of his neck? He's got like
with all this tape and stuff.
Yeah, he's got like 5 different pieces of tape keeping his neck together, and I can only imagine that Nico Hülkenberg's got a lot of tape as well. So I bet they'll be looking forward to having a weekend off. Daniel Ricciardo's got tape on his neck as well.
I just feel for Daniel so much. He's just struggling, and it's not. I mean, we're seeing like Williams battling the Mercs and the McLarens, and we'd never see that last year.
No.
And apart from, I think, George
on Valtteri crimes.
Oh my god, yeah. It's sad to see McLaren so off the pace. Like looking at last year, how strong Lando was. And now, there's just I don't know, new cars. Not everyone can get it right the first time. They just have to keep racing until they find out sort of what's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, there's so Seb's not got points for obvious reasons because he's not been there. Latifi's not got points. Albon doesn't have points. Nico and Lance don't have points. Mick doesn't have any points. But neither does Daniel. And like I really feel for him because he had a bad start to last season, and it got better until it just got worse towards the end of last season as well. And now he's had another bad start to the season. Yeah. But my heart really does go out to him because, he does try. And you want to see him succeed because he is one of the nice guys, I feel like.
Yeah.
But hey, at least Lando's in the top 10 for points.
Go Lando, yeah.
On a massive 6 points. But I feel like I can't really, like I said that kind of sarcastically, but I can't really say anything because obviously Lewis is only on 16 points. So
Lewis Hamilton.
Better than none. Better than none.
It is better than none. But I missed the start of qualifying. Because obviously we had daylight savings or whatever, and the clock moved, and I thought I had more time to quali, but I didn't. So when I logged on, it was as Lewis was rewatching the crash and commenting on it on Mick's crash and being like, "Oh, I hope he's okay" and stuff. But Lewis was in the media pen, not in racing clothes, and there were other drivers still in their cars. So I was like, "No,
that must be competing."
I was like,
"What's done wrong?"
Because they're talking about Q2, so that means he must have gone out in Q1. My heart dropped. I was like, "Oh no, don't do this to me." But obviously, they obviously explained that it was due to a setup change that they tested out and it didn't work. So, I guess they know not to try that setup again. So, learned something at least. But yeah,
somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of people being like, "Oh, but he came from the back in Brazil last year. He can do it again." But the car's just not there. He had not the best car on track, but a a highly competitive car last season, and it's so much easier to race in Brazil, I think, than Saudi Arabia. I say that like I've raced there myself. I have not. I have never been to Saudi Arabia or Brazil, but yeah, I was just, and he did so well, and then Latifi crashed, and then the pit lane was closed, and then it was just
chaos.
It was a lot. And for anyone who says that Lewis Hamilton's just a really lucky driver and that's how he's got to where he is,
don't even get me
that was the
started
worst
on
luck
that.
I think the fact that the pit lane he just missed the pit lane when they called him in. He was like 100 meters down the track from the pit lane entrance, and then the fact that they went to a green flag before he could get round to the pit lane again after the pit lane had been closed, I was like, oh, you know, you could not get worse luck. But yeah, obviously we have to talk about the Latifi crash, because that cost Perez a win, I reckon.
Definitely, because he pitted before it happened, just before.
Ferrari called the pass. What did you think about the Carlos Sainz versus Checo Perez at the safety car line on the pit exit? Who do you think got there first? Because obviously Red Bull ended up giving the place back to Carlos so as to avoid any possible penalties. But do you think it was Carlos's place third, or do you think it was
Checo
Perez's?
agreed with it as well at the end. I don't know if he was just saying it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you never know when they're saying stuff for PR reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was quite interesting because they were trying to get all the different angles and things like that. And the commentators were like, oh no, someone get us an overhead shot. Let's like do what we can. But yeah, I do think Carlos was maybe like half a car in front. But yeah, obviously there's no longer the Michael.
Oh, I do miss
Michael.
them.
I don't miss that at all.
They stressed me out.
It was so annoying.
I feel like what we haven't really touched upon though is the fact that Latifi has crashed in 2 races and brought out a safety car that has cost the lead driver their race.
Yeah, and they were very similar crashes.
Yeah.
Like almost identical.
I at some point, and both times ended up favouring Verstappen. At some point, we need to start asking questions.
Yeah.
How much is he being paid?
I was literally going to say that. How much are you being paid by Christian Horner, Latifi?
Yeah, give us the details. Give us the numbers.
Is Kelly Pickett giving you some kind of deal?
Kelly Piquet.
Sorry.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Oh, that woman. Was it Queen Kelly Edits or something like that on TikTok?
Yeah.
One of the
amazing
funniest TikTok accounts out there. I love it. Especially the the way that she edits things. I mean, I'm assuming it's a she. If it's a guy, props to you, because you're making some top tier content that a lot of ladies are enjoying.
Don't let anyone bring you down.
Yeah. Speaking of TikTok, did you know that we have a TikTok?
Yes.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. It is at rule107_, which is the same as our Twitter. So, go check those out. And obviously our Instagram is rule_107. All of these should be linked below if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to this on Spotify, the links are in the description of our podcast. And there's also a link to our YouTube, just in case you want to check that out, because we will have some non-podcast stuff coming to you soon.
Hype it up, girl. Hype it up.
Whoop, whoop. I feel like I need like a hype man to be going, yeah, in the background.
I'll be your hype man. Yeah.
We need those like buttons from iCarly.
Yes.
Just, like, we need like the applause, the like scream. Yeah.
Scream.
One day we'll get a soundboard and we can just.
Yeah. That's it, a soundboard.
Yeah.
Just that thing that plays sounds. Yeah.
But yeah, speaking about safety cars, we obviously then had lap 37, as we mentioned, kind of like something from Cars 2. We had Alonso and his engine dying, and then Daniel and his car were dying, and then Valtteri was being retired. It was like, whoa,
What is going on? Yeah.
And yeah, I was like, huh?
I was confused. I was like, why is everyone stopping?
Yeah, I thought
some people think it was to do with the heat, like with the actual temperature of the air. But then I don't know. Who knows?
Well, yeah, because I mean, McLaren definitely have had a lot of issues with overheating, which we saw in pre-season testing and at the Bahrain Grand Prix. So it wouldn't surprise me if that played a part of it. But the way that the cars were downshifting was crazy. And I mean, so I am friends with one of the Alpine mechanics, and he just essentially said to me that, you know, that there is the prevailing theory that it wasn't necessarily an engine failure, or an overheating thing, and it was more of a protest in their own way. But if it was a protest, I want to know why lap 37, because I cannot think for why 37 would be significant. Unless there's something about having to get so far through a race.
Yeah.
And oh my god, we did talk about Yuki not starting. I just had a brainwave and I was like, oh my god, we didn't talk about Yuki. I think I have dementia, potentially. You know. So yeah, obviously Yuki didn't start, neither did Mick, because he was not cleared to race, and also he didn't have a car to race. Ricciardo, Alonso and Bottas all went out on lap 37. Latifi had gone out before then. Alexander Albon had a collision with Lance Stroll right at the end for no reason. Who do you think was at fault there? Because
I think Alex.
I think it was Alex's fault as well, because he just sort of
me too.
expected Lance to leave him space and just sort of turned in.
I mean, it was a boring race, but did you get that bored that you had to make some?
You just went kamikaze because you were bored.
Yeah. But it was a very lonely race for George as well.
Bestie was just vibing by himself.
Yeah, he was just like, okay, I'm just gonna be on my own.
On my own.
It was like 22 seconds off of the Ferraris and the Red Bulls, but then 24 seconds ahead of P6.
Yeah.
So he really was just out there having a solo race, which it's interesting because we've seen that before with the lead cars when they've just driven off one or two cars. But it's rare that you have 4 cars, then 1 car, and then a bunch of other cars.
Yeah.
He really was just out there having a lonely race. But it was good to see him score 5th. I think that really was the best that the Mercedes could do.
Yeah, I agree.
Given where they are, I think if they can get the car tuned in, I don't know what they have to do to achieve that, then it will be lightning quick, because there's a reason that they got rid of the side pods. Something in the data from the air tunnels showed that was a better move than having the side pods. Yeah. So I've got to trust that somewhere the skinny car makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm holding out hope. It's not looking great, but I'm hoping.
Unless it's just like the engine, because if you look at where the other Mercedes powered cars are.
Well, yeah, this is it. Is it the engine? Or is it also, I mean, I think part of it is the aero, but I do think the engine is underpowered.
Definitely.
But I don't know what they can do with that, because obviously there's new engine regulations, which means that nothing can be massively upgraded, I think, until 2025. So, like,
yeah, I can't watch Mercedes down there till 2025. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I would cry. I will cry
hibernate for 5 years. No, 3 years. I don't know maths.
Yeah, I will sob if they're down there till then. I think George might sob as well, seeing as he finally got out of Williams and into the senior team.
Wait, so does that mean sorry, this is kind of off subject, but it's not. Last race in Bahrain, that was George's best finish from like a proper race. Obviously there was Spa, but like, was that his best finish in F1?
Yeah.
Where I actually raced? I only clicked. Wow. Oh, George. Sorry. As you were.
You know what else was kind of like a record? Lewis Hamilton, 180 races with one team.
Yeah.
Go bestie, add another record to your roster of records. He's got so many records already. Like,
I want to know who's counting all these different things.
So, yeah, who's decided we're going to turn this into a record?
Literally, it's like who's raced the most corners without actually finishing a race.
Yeah, there's some really
weird
bring records out there.
There are.
I mean, I doubt anyone's going to beat the longest pit stop for a while.
And
that was a long time.
McLaren have got the fastest pit stop in 2 consecutive races, so they're doing something right. They're doing something right.
Yeah, the pit crew are doing something right when Daniel's not tripping over them on his way back into the garage.
Oh, stop.
Oh
dear.
Yeah, it's painful.
It is.
Like there's no beating around the bush. It's painful. And I'm not a Ferrari fan, but my God, will I get behind Charles Leclerc, the sick Victorian looking child that he is. I cannot see Christian Horner's smug little face. We from the team members that couldn't be here today, we have some quotes from different Tumblr accounts to chat about. I'd like to just start off with something that came up on my dash from Formula Bois with MV0, obviously, because he does not believe, or she does not believe, that Max Verstappen won last year's championship, but that's neither here nor there. Yelling about Charles on the radio whilst Charles rides off into the distance, part 2538. Because he really did feel like he was complaining a lot. But then the exact next post down by Penske was Danny Yihardo. And I just love that for Daniel Ricciardo. That should be his name when he goes to Austin.
Yeah.
And Miami. And Las Vegas, if you're to believe all of the rumors.
Vegas. That'd be quite exciting.
Well, that's the racetrack that Daniel said when they were asked in that press conference all that time ago, where do you want to race? He said Vegas.
I just imagine how happy he will be.
Yeah. Have you seen
and also
the supposed plan for the Vegas track?
No.
So it goes along the Las Vegas Strip, past Caesar's Palace, past the Bellagio Fountain, past the Cosmopolitan. It's almost like rectangular. There's
it could be like the same vibe as Monaco.
It'll be like the same vibe as Monaco, but higher speed because there's a lot more straights and
I'm looking at it now.
Fast corners.
Is it like the do you remember when Daniel done the video for Red Bull?
Yes, in Vegas. I like that video. Yeah, I'll say what I will about Red Bull, but I love their marketing department.
Oh no, definitely, yeah.
Because they come up with some of the best stuff. Just in case you haven't seen it, Gracie, I have just sent it to you.
Red Bull is insane with that stuff.
Yeah, like they got DC doing like a scrum against rugby players. I think they also...
Oh my goodness, I've got the funniest thing about that.
Yeah, go on.
So basically, my brother does the filming for Red Bull and he filmed that.
Yeah.
And in the last clip, you can see Daniel Ricciardo kicking the ball up to the drone and all of their faces just dropping, and he broke the drone. So Red Bull had to replace the drone.
Good.
I love that.
The end of it.
That's very on brand for Daniel Ricciardo.
Isn't it though? Like his face just goes, oh.
I did not expect to succeed.
Good
I
shot.
failed successfully.
But yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and they got, well, if Daniel did that, then it must have been DC who did the donuts on the helipad. How did they get that car up there?
They did one on the Ferris wheel as well, didn't they?
Yeah, like they've done so much crazy shit.
Anti-gravity pit stop.
Yeah, like where are you taking the car to do this? How are you getting? I want to know the logistics of this.
That car's been more places than me.
Yeah. I also want to be a fly in the wall of those marketing departments. I want to know which brave soul went, you know what I think we should do? A zero gravity pit stop. Like,
Yeah, I mean, their ideas just get better and better every time.
yeah, and I have to say, I do really love the Red Bull soapbox races. They're always hilarious.
Oh my goodness,
especially
so
when they
funny,
get the
just, like,
drivers
falling apart.
Yeah, especially when they get the drivers to participate. Those are always funny.
Yeah.
And there's the people that go there all like serious with their like fast
I was
cars.
just about to say, yeah, I love the people
that go
that are just having
there
fun.
with their
straw.
carts that are made up of like unicycle, like, or penny farthing wheels and things like that. And or they're just there to have some fun. It's really interesting seeing the crossover between the two. You know what we forgot to mention about pitting drama, because obviously Zhou Guanyu was given a drive-through penalty for not serving his original penalty, but that was because what happened was the jack dropped, it broke, which we've seen quite a few of. I feel so sorry for the pit crews because the cars are so heavy. And they then immediately got another jack there, and I think they sort of completely forgot about the 5-second penalty. But it looked like they were stationary for a little bit of time, so I just wonder if they just went slightly too early. But yeah, it's not been a great start to the season for him, unfortunately.
Because he looked so strong in pre-season. Obviously it's just pre-season, but the car looked good.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of last season, I did, go on about how I thought Oscar Piastri should have got that seat over him, but he's really impressed me so far.
Oh no, yeah, he has proved, well, so far he should be there.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask, so I've seen some things about the DRS that it could get scrapped. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Do you think it should be, or do you like it?
I think hopefully we should get to a point where we don't need it, because the cars can race without the use of it. I do think, I mean, obviously it was really interesting watching Hamilton v Magnussen, and then Esteban versus Fernando. I got that right this time. And then Leclerc versus Verstappen, and how they were using the DRS and the DRS zones and sort of playing chess with each other. But at the same time, like, it is so overpowered.
Yeah.
That it just didn't really make sense to me.
Yeah.
Well, like, maybe if they only, sorry, carry on.
No, you're fine. Go.
If like, it'd be good if they could only use a certain amount, because obviously they do use a certain amount of DRS, but it get the amount they're allowed gets smaller and smaller, if you get what I mean.
So kind of like the fan boosts and things like that in Formula E.
Yeah. Like pushed past.
Could you imagine voting for a fan boost for Formula One? Oh my god, that would be so polarizing.
Yeah.
Verstappen would get it because the Orange Army are humongous.
Yeah.
Lewis could potentially get it, but it just depends on how many people decide that they're fans of him that weekend.
It'll be like Max has got it 10
every
times
week
in a row. He's no longer allowed it now, so it's everyone apart from Max.
Yeah. I could see Lando getting it quite Daniel's quite popular, so I could see him getting it a lot, but I could see the Ferraris getting it a fair amount as well.
Yeah, and I think quite a lot of people want to see Daniel to do well, so they'll be like, okay, I want Daniel.
Yeah.
You know.
And I mean, because you see it in Formula E. I mean, I don't know about anyone else. I always vote for the same driver. Does not matter which race, doesn't matter where he's starting. I'm voting for that driver. I'll give a brownie points to the person that can guess which driver.
Ooh. Nick?
Of course.
We both said that at the same time.
Yeah. Who else would I vote for? I mean, I do occasionally vote for Stoffel.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Not as much.
I did vote for Antonio Giovinazzi now that he's in Formula E.
Oh yeah, it's so nice seeing him around like the paddock.
Yeah, because he's been there with Ferrari because he's their reserve driver, I feel like. Which is, it's nice to see him there, even though he's not driving. We miss you, Antonio. Obviously, I mean, given how off track we've gotten, I think it's pretty safe to gather that the race was not the most interesting of races. But I obviously we had the Ham Ver Bot as like almost every single podium for the past few years.
Yeah.
I reckon Lec Ver Sign are going to be the new Ham Ver Bot.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not mad about Sainz and Leclerc being up there.
She's a Ferrari fan over there.
Yeah. Sorry. I mean, I support drivers more than teams, I would say. So
I can get behind that.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm enjoying seeing Leclerc and Sainz up there, to be fair. Yeah. I mean, it's different. We haven't seen it for a very long time. But I'd love to see Lewis up there with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or even George, like.
Yeah, I just want to see the Mercedes being part of the fight, not just coming home like P5 and P6, slightly higher if one of the other teams messes up or DNFs. Like,
yeah,
I want to see them actually competing, rather than, being down there at the bottom.
Love Lewis's comment at the end. Yeah. Is there even a point for that?
Oh yeah,
I know. Oh, he's so sassy when he wants to be. I just love him.
Then you get the Max fans being like, "Can you stop crying?"
Yeah, they're like, "Oh my god, he's crying about it." It's like, no, I'm pretty sure that was a sarcastic comment.
Yeah,
but it was quite funny. I did like his sass.
Good.
I mean, I like how he's just taking light of the situation in front of like the media stuff.
Yeah.
And, if it was another, like some other drivers, they'd proper be like really like sad in front of like mentioning no names. Yeah, there's just some people that'd be like, "Oh, my team aren't doing a good enough job." Where Lewis just never would bad mouth.
Yeah,
he loves his team. He loves Mercedes.
Yeah, he does.
And
Publicly.
They love him. And I feel like that it is a really good environment for him to be in.
Yeah.
Oh, I've just been sent this by Carla from Tumblr by their Tumblr name is Louis Juan Milton. So it's like a Mexican version of Lewis Hamilton. And this person's put, listen, I'm going to be delusional until the bitter end, but if the Merc really is unsalvageable, then I'm speaking directly to Charles Leclerc. You cannot F this up. Are you listening? Charles, look at me. This is all on you now. All of our hope is resting on your slim shoulders. Get it done. Don't let the evil prevail. # I'm serious. And that is me right now. I'm not a Ferrari fan, but
yeah,
I can become a Ferrari fan.
I was so sad when Max kept overtaking Charles. I was like, "Come on, Charles!"
I was literally screaming at the TV.
As a McLaren fan, I shouldn't be cheering on a Ferrari, but I am. What's happened?
Yeah.
Like Seb said, even if you say you're not a Ferrari fan, you are a Ferrari fan.
Literally.
I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm a Ferrari fan. I'm just not a Christian Horner fan. And I'm not a Red Bull
Same.
fan.
I can get behind that. I agree.
I'd say that that's more my stance because for me,
But I do-
Ferrari are really just there as entertainment.
Yeah.
They're not really a team that I get behind. I do love their engineers and like their strategists. Oh, they're the funniest people out there. Pit to overtake. Very subtle. Thank you.
Yeah.
Whereas like Lewis is like, I'm turning the button for the color that I want, and they're speaking in code at Mercedes, and Ferrari are just saying it how it is.
Yeah.
How do they remember all this coding? Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Plan A. We're going plan A.
Sorry,
Plan
no.
A again.
Plan D. It's like, what happened to B and C?
Yeah.
What's happened?
Which I'd be there like, wait, what was plan A again? And then have to explain it anyway. I'd be like, oh, there goes plan A.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, the Ferrari strategists, they seem to be on it so far this year, but in some previous years, there have been some very questionable choices.
Yeah. I mean, when to Carlos in Imola, I think, was it Imola? They said, you're too quick. You're just too quick. Like, okay. Like, how can you be too quick?
Oh.
Carlos is really like, he's angry that he's not finished higher so far.
Yeah.
He does not want to be beaten by Leclerc. And I think, given that they have a really competitive car this year, it could get quite tetchy between the two of them.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, I don't think it's ever going to reach the dramatic highlights of Mercedes and Nico and Lewis, because obviously they weren't childhood besties to enemies. Everything but lovers, ? So it's never going to be as dramatic of a split if things do go wrong, but they are they are good friends, but I could see it getting quite tetchy because Sainz does want to win and he does want to be the fastest guy on the track, and Charles is just ever so slightly too unhinged to just let it lie. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how that develops as the season goes on. I mean, especially I think if Perez is able to fight a bit more and keep up with them a bit more, and especially if Mercedes get in on the fights, then it could be really interesting watching them be put under pressure. Because I feel like though Verstappen had put pressure on Charles at the end and obviously did end up passing him with a few laps to go, I wouldn't really say there's been much pressure put on Ferrari yet.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll have to see it if the Red Bull engines last, because obviously they only did 50 laps this race, whereas it was 57. Not 57 and 55. So,
and there wasn't a red flag or anything. We'll see how the Red Bulls cope if there's like quite a few red flags.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how things develop, but at the moment we can just sit, wait and watch with eager eyes.
Sit, wait, watch and cry.
Yeah, and cry. A lot of crying as a Mercedes fan.
A lot of crying.
Yeah.
I was almost glad that because I had the race on in the background as I was getting ready to go out for Mother's Day. After I moved my Mother's Day meal reservation back so I could watch the race.
Oh my God.
Got to be done.
I've got my priorities straight there.
Sorry, Mom.
I mean, I did ask her first. I didn't just move it. I did ask. I was like, can I just make this slight adjustment and push the meal back another 45 minutes?
That's too polite. It's too polite.
Yeah, that is.
I mean, to be fair, I paid for the meal, so
Yeah. Me and my dad were just watching it, and my mum was in the kitchen making dinner. Kind of felt bad. But then my dad did.
That's so bad.
Yeah,
I was like, sorry, the race is on.
Oh, I loved that Lewis. It was like 10 minutes before the race, posting Happy Mother's Day stuff. Obviously,
oh my God, that was so cute.
I'm sure that they were queued posts, and he wasn't just stood there on his phone like typing stuff out. But literally. I did think that was quite iconic of him. to just be like, I know everyone's like stressing about this race and the fact that I'm starting P15, but happy Mother's Day to my two amazing
and to all the women out there.
Yeah, and to he didn't just stop at his mother and his stepmother. He went to all women and mothers out there. Have a great day.
He's
and that is why I love him.
Yeah, he's just great, isn't he?
Yeah, it was really cute seeing all the baby photos from all the drivers as they were like posting them with their mums. Oh, adorable. But yeah, that was pretty much the race. Lots of entertaining memes. I especially like the one of the guy at the gallows. This is your first time of Louis DeCecco.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I thought that was very funny. I sent a bunch of we have an Instagram group chat. I sent a bunch of them over there. I don't know what was going on though, because I kept sending them over and it kept just coming with the first post. Rather than the ones that I was actually...
I just screenshot them now, Maddie.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to end up doing. Nicholas Latifi, when he doesn't like the race order, reality can be whatever I want. Quote from Endgame. No. Yes? No. No. Infinity War. God, I'm such a bad Marvel fan.
Oh my God. Oh my, so bad.
Lewis Hamilton to the pit lane. Let me in! Let me in!
Oh my God.
There were just some really entertaining memes. I mean, that's usually the first thing that I do when a race is finished, is like hop online. Yeah. Hop online to look at all the memes. But yeah, it's really just making me a bit sad because obviously Mercedes are getting torn into.
Have to laugh, otherwise I'll cry.
I think I do a bit of both sometimes.
Me too.
Yeah. But yeah, so not really an interesting race for racing, but lots of stuff to talk about, from outside of the racing with driver crashes, the whole politics of everything. And obviously our next race is Australia. Which I think we've got a little bit of a wait, don't we? I can't remember.
So excited. Well, to be fair, I'm not looking up forward to the 6 a.m. wake up call, but got to be done.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I forgot 6. Oh, that's disgusting.
Day before my birthday. Let's
go.
Oh
no.
Yeah.
That really is quite disgusting.
Yeah.
Practice 1 at 4 a.m. I'm not getting up for that. Practice 3 at 4 a.m. I am also not getting up for that.
No.
Sorry, I value sleep. I will watch the highlights on Sky F1's YouTube channel.
It must take quite a while for the drivers to get used to like the jet lag and stuff.
Yeah, I wonder
about a week.
Well, I wonder if they're not staying out in the area because I know the teams have come back to the UK. I don't know whether the drivers have. I know Mercedes were talking about bringing some upgrades or doing something to the car in between now.
A whole new car.
Please.
Yes.
Just repaint the W11.
Yes. And just cover the side pods slightly like how they did in Barcelona.
Well, yeah, I mean, technically the regulations were just more of a guideline. The W11, she vaguely fits the bill.
Oh yeah, no, she fits.
Vaguely. Did you know? Because I mean, I knew they wanted to go back to the silver because obviously they are known as the Silver Arrows. But did you know that they did that partly to drop weight on the car?
Really?
Yeah, because the black paint is heavier. I was like, what?
What? How can paint paint be heavier than the?
Yeah, well that's why.
Maybe that's why Haas is doing so well because it's white.
I mean, you think it's crazy, but that's why planes are painted white. It's because it weighs less than black paint.
Stop! Wow.
Yeah, they
every day.
Yeah, because all the teams have been complaining about how heavy the cars are, and you see the jacks breaking left, right, and centre.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that was part of the decision to go back to silver was for a weight thing, which I was like, whoa. Never thought it would come down to this. No. The black car was very sexy, and I do miss her every day.
So do I.
Me too.
But yeah, I think that wraps up wraps up Saudi Arabia. Bit of a boring race, a little bit interesting. Overall,
A few battles here and there.
how would you score it out of
Other than that,
how would you score it out of 10 as a race for you?
I'd give it a solid 4.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm thinking of 4 for this race.
I might give it a 5, just because the fireworks were really cool.
But how do we know they were like legit fireworks? I'm sorry. People were like, are they fireworks or is there something serious going on right now?
Yeah, is it
Oh my God, I saw
Yemeni
that.
rebels again? Or
My mum said that, and I was like, Kendall.
and I will say the photo of Pierre with the fireworks behind him when he was talking in the interview was a very nice photo. So I'll I could bump it up to 4.5 for the fireworks. But
I will stay at 4.
I'm staying at 4.
I think that there we go. That averages out to 4.5, doesn't it? Not a great race. Not a terrible race. We actually got some racing, unlike Spa last year, so there was that. But I do think that then either we don't go back to the track, or they do massive improvements to the safety, because the concrete walls are concrete and they're hurting drivers.
You need to be like, then I don't know how to put this, but like you need to act as if a driver is going to crash into every single bit of the wall.
Yeah,
you get what I mean?
Yeah, you've got.
They were like, a driver's not going to crash there, but you don't know that.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, that's why they didn't open the pit lane sooner, was because they were like, well, you never know. They may, brake and crash into Alonso's car, even though it was statistically incredibly unlikely for that to happen. So, if you're going to act like that about the pit lane, where they're already going slower than they usually are, act like it about the rest of the track. Speaking to you too, Spa, Francorchamps. I mean, obviously they have made some changes, but we will get onto that when we get onto the actual Belgian Grand Prix. Yeah, it's been lovely hanging out with you girls and talking about this.
Yeah, you too.
And we'll have some more interesting content coming for you guys on our YouTube channel that isn't podcast related, obviously, because we've not got any racing next week. But with regards to Talks, we will see you again for Australia.
Over and out.
Over and out. Thanks for having us.
Bye.
Bye.